Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ittena Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga. Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaste Narasingha. Namaste Narasingha. Shipuvaksha 도는 싱호 야토 야토 야미가 도는 싱호 아히를 싱호를 다해는 싱호 날 싱호 마름 샤르남 프라파게 타바카라 칼라바레 나마구타 싱함 달리타 헤르냐 카시푸 탄레나 자바디타 마라리루나 자가리자하레 자가리자하레 जय भगवान की भगत महाराज की प्रभुपाद की और प्रेमानंदी।
just waiting for Raj to come, so we'll just do a bit of karaoke in the meantime. Why not? Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Jaya Radha Gola, Nanda Radha Gola, Jaya Radha Gola, Nanda, Jaya Radha Gola, Nanda. Radha Gola, Nanda, Radha Gola, Nanda, Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Harinam Sankirtan ki.
So Hare Krishna everyone. So thank you very much for taking time out to be here. I'm sure everyone is aware about the coronavirus story. We got the notice board up there. If you think if you're ill, it's better to isolate yourself, or if you think you're less immune, it's better to avoid the public programs. So this is the warning, like this is the information given by NHS and the government, so we are just putting that forward to all our congregational members. So just a warning, like just an information. As soon as you come in, please try to wash your hands, or there is an hand sanitizer there. So just take all the precautions, whatever you are hearing over internet. So His Holiness Dayananda Swami Maharaj will be giving lecture. So from hand sanitizer. I don't need it now. Show. To show. All right. Yeah, it's over there. Thank you. Put it back. No, I've done mine. Thank you. So we're going to do, Maharaj will be giving lecture from 2 o'clock. We got some 45 minutes. In between that, we'll do a little bit kirtan and also watch some videos about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we all know that it is the appearance day of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Sri Radha and Krishna. It is tomorrow is his appearance day. You all know that. So on the occasion of Gaura Purnima, his appearance day, we will just try to see actually who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes people ask you, quite a lot. Oh, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who is it? No, you wonder what to tell. But here is a short video for you to enjoy. Hopefully the IT cooperates. Let's see. Is the sound system okay, Prabhu? Is that audible?
This coming weekend, we are celebrating the holy birthday or appearance day of a very special personality by the name Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described to be none different from Sri Krishna, who appeared in Dwapar Yuga and is the celebrated speaker of the wisdom text Sri Bhagavad Gita. In fact, the scriptures find his purpose of appearance. They state that Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita in a theoretical manner. He advised the listener Arjuna on how one could achieve the ultimate success of human life by serving the Lord in a selfless, unconditional manner, or the path of devotion to bhakti. He described how one should absorb one's mind in the remembrance of Lord, absorb one's consciousness in chanting the holy name of the Lord. At the same time, how one would serve both the Lord and seek their grace and blessings on the path of bhakti. However, after Krishna ascended and wrapped up his time, he thought to himself, living beings in this age of Yuga are so slow, are so unfortunate, and most importantly so restless, that simply philosophical, theoretical niche approach would not suffice. There has to be a practical demonstration of how to implement these principles of the looking at which people in the age of Yuga understand this practical approach of path of devotion. Hence, to personally show these principles, enact by personal example how to practice bhakti, achieve pure love of God. Sri Krishna manifests in the age of Kali is most beautiful form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advented in the present day town of Navadvip in the state West Bengal in India, and to virtuous, very kind-hearted Brahmanas. The father's name was Nath Mishra. The mother's name was Shachi Devi. From childhood, he showed very brilliant principles, be shocking yet wonderful times, which be beyond human capability. Later on, as his life unfolded, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, upon being a stalwart scholar in the different schools of philosophy, he happened to be the father of the modern day Sinam Kirtan movement. The present day chant of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare happened to be emitted from the lips of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the most unique contribution of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is his magnanimous nature of compassion. No other incarnation of God, whether it is the fish incarnation of Matsya avatar, or the tortoise incarnation of Kurma avatar, or the boar incarnation of Varaha avatar, and so on, none of them gave pure love of God as a gift. Even Krishna, when he appeared in Dwapar Yuga, promised freedom from sins in return to our surrender. However, the most merciful, magnanimous, compassionate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't stop at just bestowing fearlessness. He doesn't stop at simply eradicating and uprooting our sinful reactions. He doesn't even stop at simply bestowing liberation or mukti. But he is ready to freely distribute the most cherished goal and desire of the soul, is pure love for God. But with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, freely comes out in the streets of Kali Yuga and gives the precious key to the chess box of pure love. He is so kind that he is madly in love out of compassion for all living entities. The point to be noted is that how would have we known about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if it was not for Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, who traveled around the world in the ripe age of 70 and distributed this mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the knowledge about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even to the Western world. The whole world is so grateful and indebted to Srila Prabhupada and to his wonderful organization ISKCON, who continue to preach and spread the teachings and the pure devotional sentiments and practice on the basis of the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita far and wide in every continent of this world. Let us express our deepest gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, to his wonderful body, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also called as ISKCON, and ultimately to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none different from Krishna, for giving us this wonderful perspective and dimension in life, the path of pure bhakti, by the process of hearing about Krishna and blissfully chanting his holy names. So this is such a wonderful opportunity for all of us to celebrate this holy day out of gratitude for this great personality who is none different from Sri Krishna himself.
श्री गौरांग महाप्रभु की
निताय गौरंग
प्रभु की
निताय गौरंग
श्रील प्रभुपाद की गौर प्रेमानंदे
निताय 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 गौरंग निताय रंग निताय रंग निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग निताय 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 रंग निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग निताय 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 गौरंग जय निताय जय गौर जय निताय जय गौर जय निताय जय गौर जय निताय
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki
Jai.
So we'll do a little kiss before we watching another video.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panja Tattva Jaya, Panja Tattva Jaya, Panja Tattva Jaya, Panja Tattva. Jaya Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari.
Shri Ram Sankirtan ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Hey.
Himalayas. The sacred river Ganges flows across the plains of India.
Isha Krishnam Sharupanga Parshadam प्रायुर्योजन्ति ईशु मे भक्ता।
High in the snow Himalayas, the sacred river Ganges flows across the plain of India 4,600 miles before it reaches Mayapur in Navadvip, Bengal. In this holy land is a temple that marks the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya. Today, pilgrims journey to Mayapur annually to celebrate the anniversary of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. We know of Chaitanya as the Jesus, casually featured the greatest scholar, the young revolutionary who organized in this first disobedience movement, the social reformer who transcended the rigid Hindu caste system, the supreme renouncer to whom common people, religious leaders, and even kings bowed. Above all, O of Chaitanya, the perfect devotion, blessed worlds on time. Congregational ching of holy name of God. Here at his place, they worship Sri Chaitanya on the life of his Chi Day. Century Renaissance was turning vision from God to man, from religion to humanism, from a search for the self to a search for explored continents. But in India, Sri Chaitanya and his associates were to shift people's vision back to God and make God's life accessible to everyone. Their lives would exemplify Krishna's intellectual teachings in Bhagavad Gita. Theirs a renaissance in bhakti, devoted to Lord Krishna. Year 1202, Navadvip was the first city in Bengal to be captured by Muslim conquerors. Despite foreign rule, Navadvip's people, master their occupation, were blessed with life and happiness. Navadvip's fame as a center of learning attracted students and erudite teachers from various countries. But pride in scholarship and material opulence brought forgetfulness of spiritual culture. Seeing people of the world overcome by materialism, the powerful sage Ita Acharya prayed for the Supreme Lord to descend and create a rebirth of spiritual devotion. On the evening of February 18th, 1486, there was an eclipse of the full moon over India. Millions of Hindus waist deep in the river, gently chant the holy name of God. At this auspicious time, Sri Chaitanya was born. A learned astrologer studied the base horoscope and saw all symptoms of Lord Krishna. He declared,
Nimai is destined to make the whole world peaceful.
The child was called Nimai because he was born under a neem tree. Villagers noticed that Nimai's features strikingly resembled those of Lord Krishna. When the beautiful infant died, only the loud chanting of Krishna and Hari make him stop. By baby tricks, Sri Chaitanya had begun his mission. As a baby, he soon surpassed all the other students and became known as a pundit or scholar. At 16, Nimai Pandit opened his own school and attracted many pupils. Although the people considered him an ordinary mortal, he was undoubtedly their greatest teacher in all churches source of knowledge. Both Hindus and Muslims loved him. By this time, Nimai was a householder. He and Lakshmi had been attracted to each other from childhood and were married with great pomp and merriment. One day, Kesha Kashmiri, a broad and brilliant scholar who was undefeated in debate, came to Navadvip. Nimai came on the bank of the Ganges, easily defeated him. That night, in a dream, Saraswati, the goddess of learning, told Keshava Kashmiri,
"My dear Keshav, Neva is the ultimate source of all your learning. Your supreme Lord, Shri Krishna himself."
The next day, Keshava humbly surrendered to Nimai and became his follower. Nimai Pandit's victory became a household topic. The year 1508 marked a turning point in Nimai Pandit's life. On a pilgrimage to Gaya, he met a great spiritual master named Ishwara Puri and received spiritual initiation from him. Ishwara Puri told Nimai,
"If you want to make spiritual progress, simply chant Hare Krishna. There is no religious method more sublime in this age than Sankirtan, or glorifying God by chanting his holy names."
Nimai began chanting and returned to Bengal full of ecstatic love for Krishna. People were astonished at the change in him. From this point on, he who had been supreme among all logicians and debaters would now be himself to popularizing Sankirtan. He would show people how to become a devotee to Krishna. This house every night for a year. Nimai led his associates in Sankirtan: Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas Thakur. One night, Nimai revealed to his followers that he was the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the source of all incarnations. Thus, all the devotees became fully confident that Nimai was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One of Nimai's associates was Haridas Thakur. Imbued with love of God, Haridas chanted Hare Krishna with implicit faith and purity throughout the day and night. He was rejected by caste-conscious Hindus because of his Muslim birth. Nimai, however, recognized Haridas as an exalted devotee. Another associate of Nimai was Nityananda Prabhu. Every day, Nityananda and Haridas from house to house, asking everyone they met to chant the holy name of the Lord. One day, they approached Jagai and Madhai, two drunken brothers. The enraged Madhai attacked Nityananda with a broken pot. Nimai rushed to the spot and invoked his main weapon to kill Jagai and Madhai. But Nityananda implored Nimai to extend his mercy. The brothers, moved Nityananda's compassion, surrendered at Nimai's feet and gave up their sinful ways. The spiritual ecstasy of chanting could no longer be contained. It burst forth in the minds and hearts of the people of Navadvip. Some Muslims and even Brahmins were envious, however. They complained to Chand Qazi, the Muslim magistrate, and one night the Qazi raided a devotee's home, angrily broke a drum and declared,
Next time someone chants, I will confiscate all property.
Nimai's response was bold and fierce. He quickly mobilized 100,000 people and led them to India's first civil disobedience movement. They soon reached the home of the Qazi, who only then realized the popularity of young Nimai's Sankirtan movement. After an extensive philosophical discussion, the Qazi was so moved by the truth and beauty of Nimai's teachings that he pledged,
Neither I nor any of my descendants will ever again hinder this Sankirtan movement.
Nimai's followers multiplied. His weapon was Sankirtan, and his miracle to turn materialists into pure spiritualists. Yet he occasionally displayed miracles of a type. One night, the son of Sri Thakur died. Nimai restored the dead body to life. "Why are you leaving us?" he asked the boy.
I lived as long as I was destined. I am your eternal servant, a dependent living being. I must act according to your desire.
Hearing this, everyone present became transcendently enlightened. Yet there were those who disdained the Sankirtan movement, thinking Nimai an ordinary man. To capture these critics in his network of love of God, Nimai severed connection with family and home. January 1510, Nimai accepted sannyas, the highest spiritual order, renouncing the world, humbly devoting his life to the service of Krishna. Because the order of sannyas was revered by the whole society, Nimai could then spread his movement more effectively. His childhood name was set aside, and he became known as Sri Chaitanya. The Lord's mother was heartbroken by her son's renunciation. He consoled her by agreeing to make his quarters at nearby Jagannath Puri, the holy city in Odisha on the Bay of Bengal. With 4 others, Sri Chaitanya walked along the banks of the Ganges toward Puri, stopping on the way to visit temples and hear about the pastimes of Lord Krishna and his devotees. Finally, they came to Puri. On seeing the temple of Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya immediately became ecstatic, and he entered the temple so overwhelmed with love of God he fainted. Unconscious, he carried here the whole Sarvabhaumacharya, or Puri. Here the Lord regained consciousness and met Sarvabhauma for the first time. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had thousands of followers and was the personal advisor to the king of Orissa. Yet, after 1 week of discussions, the elder Sarvabhauma realized the absolute truth is not impersonal, but is Krishna himself. He became an ardent disciple of the 24-year-old Sri Chaitanya. The whole city was amazed. Thousands of people began to follow Sri Chaitanya, including the king himself. But the Lord did not stay to enjoy his fame. He left Jagannath Puri to propagate the chanting of Hare Krishna. He embarked on a 2-year, 4,000-mile pilgrimage to the holy places of South India. In one village, a devotee named Vasudeva, who was suffering from leprosy, went to see Sri Chaitanya. But Vasudeva arrived too late. Hopelessly disappointed, he fell unconscious. Suddenly, Sri Chaitanya returned and embraced Vasudeva, curing his leprosy. The Lord visited the Jaya Shringa temple and offered his respectful obeisances on seeing the half-man, half-lion deity Lord Nishringa temple. Sri Chaitanya was staying near the Godavari River. Ramda Roy, the governor of Madras, and the advanced devotee Krishna came. Sri Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy spent many hours discussing Lord Krishna's times. Finally, Sri Chaitanya wrote himself as the kind form of the Supreme Person, Lord Krishna, and his beloved consort Rani. Arriving at Shiva Kanchi, Lord Chaitanya visited the deity Lord Shiva in a very old temple. By his influence, he converted all the devotees of Lord Shiva into devotees of Lord Krishna. Nearby, the Lord visited the holy place known as Vishnu Chari and performed kirtan in ecstasy. 400 feet up in the hill, Pakshitara, Sri Chaitanya visited the temple of Lord Shiva. It is said that 2 birds have been going to this till day to receive from temple priests since since time immemorial. Sri Ranga Temple, surrounded 7 walls, is the largest in India. There, beneath the gold dome, the 18th black deity of Shanganath reclines behind a deity Lord Vishnu. Sri Chaitanya stayed here in Sri Ranga for the 4 months of the rainy season. Daily, many people come to see him and were freed from the stress of material life. In Madurai, Sri Chaitanya visited Manaka Devi, built in honor of Lord Vishnu's wife. This temple is known as a great architectural achievement. Lord saw the Malaya Parvata mountain range, Cape Comoros, the southernmost tip of India. He headed north back to Puri. On the way, he became ecstatic. He reached the Adikava temple. A small deity circumambulates the area every day. In this temple, Sri Chaitanya discovered a chapter of the Brahma Samhita, an important scripture that had long been lost. The Lord copied it and took it with him, considering it a most valuable jewel. The Lord arrived at Udupi, where Madhvacharya, the great devotee and spiritual preceptor, was born to live. When the Lord saw Madhvacharya, the deity of Lord Krishna, he became mad with ecstasy. As the Lord passed through towns and villages, many people came to see him. He blessed them and asked them all to chant Hare Krishna. These people, now powered devotees, turned to their homes and inspired others to chant. Krishna himself, in the guise of a devotee, had begun to fill the world with a notion of love, Sri Krishna. The world would never be the same. In 1512, Sri Chaitanya returned to Puri while preparations were underway for Rath Yatra, the old and magnificent parade of Jagannath. Even today, for the past 2,000 years, local people construct and decorate chariots yearly day. Deity Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, he gives the temple to run from his chariot and extend his mercy to everyone. Accompanying Jagannath on similar chariots are his elder brother Ram and his sister Subhadra. Yearly, hundreds of Sri Chaitanya followers in Bengal journeyed to join in Rath Yatra. Organizes to these 7 groups of chanters and place them around the huge chariot. Even Jagannath himself was astonished at the dance of Sri Chaitanya. Brought his chariot to standstill, watch with unblinking eyes. Jagannath is Krishna. This celebration commemorates the time when Krishna was led from the surpassed majesty of his kingdom to the rural village of Vrindavan, where he passed childhood. The devotees will carry Krishna back to Vrindavan, intending and pity of love for Krishna fills every heart. Sri Chaitanya wanted to be here for years, and finally, one autumn morning, he left Puri and headed toward the land of Home. On the way, he passed through the forest of Jarikanda. Attracted by the Lord's deep love of Krishna, the wild animals gave up their old days and began to chant with him. The Lord had been absorbed in ecstatic love at Jagannath Puri, but that love increased 100,000 times as he wandered in the Vrindavan forest where Krishna had tended his cows. Sri Chaitanya is Krishna himself, and he recognized his old friends, the animals, trees, and creepers of Vrindavan. In turn, would be willing to see their Lord again. Each morning, Lord Chaitanya sat alone beneath this tamarind tree and relished the joy of chanting Hare Krishna. In the afternoon, he explained the important chanting to his many visitors. The Lord's footprints memorialized the spot. Lord Chaitanya asked two of his close associates, Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, live in Vrindavan, excavate the holy places of Krishna's pastimes, and write books on Krishna consciousness. And Sanatan, along with four other inspired scholar Goswamis, contributed the largest and most consistent body of spiritual literature known in the world. They established temples and taught Krishna consciousness by exemplary lives. For years, Lord Chaitanya had traveled extensively in India. Now he, years old, would spend the rest of his days with his associates in Jagannath Puri. Now elderly, Haridas Thakur had moved from Navada to a small cottage near the Jagannath temple in Puri. Because he had been born in a caste, Haridas was not allowed in the temple. Sri Chaitanya, who was Krishna himself, visited Haridas every day. One day, the Lord found Haridas alone. Haridas said,
My Lord, I think you end our pastimes in this material world. Before that time comes, kindly let my body fall down in presence.
2 days later, when the Lord came to visit, Haridas fixed his eyes on the Lord's face, chanted Sri Krishna Chaitanya, gave up his earthly life to return home to the spiritual world. Of love for this unparalleled devotee, Sri Chaitanya took Haridas's dead body and began to dance, while the entire city chanted Hare Krishna. To honor Haridas' passing, the Lord collected sanctified food and distributed his helpings to all devotees, saying, glories to Haridas Thakur, who attained perfection chanting the holy name of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya stayed for 18 years. Each day he would chant and dance in the temple and inspire the countless people who came to it. At night he stayed in this room called Gambira, where his sandals and her pot are enshrined today. Overwhelmed by the glorious sweetness of ecstatic love for Krishna, he experienced inconceivable transcendental emotions. One night, Sri Chaitanya happily wandered in a garden that resembled Vrindavan. Suddenly he saw Lord Krishna. He began running toward Krishna, but Krishna smiled and disappeared. At night, the devotee found Sri Chaitanya lying at the Jagannath temple. The Lord was in conscious ecstasy of sadness, feeling separation from Krishna. The year 1534. One day, devotees of Sri Chaitanya, now 48, enter a temple of Krishna. He never came out. He had amalgamated himself with the deity of Krishna on the altar. Thus, Thus the Lord concluded his pastimes on earth and returned to his eternal abode in the spiritual world. The immortal culture of Krishna consciousness, as presented by Sri Chaitanya, has been passed from one generation to the next through a succession of great realized teachers, including His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada wrote 60 books on Lord Chaitanya Krishna Consciousness, founded farming committees on 6 continents. He installed deities of the same Lord throughout the world, and he inaugurated the chariot parade and distribution of sanctified food worldwide. It was Srila Prabhupada who carried Sri Chaitanya's storehouse of Lord God beyond the shores of India and began to fulfill Sri Chaitanya's prediction that my hymns were chanted every town and village in the world. In 1984, Srila Prabhupada decided to begin an 18th walk pilgrimage, retracing Lord Chaitanya's route throughout India, removing millions of his great spiritual message. All Lord Chaitanya's followers wrote hundreds of books. The Lord himself left only 8 verses. My dear Lord Krishna, he prayed, let there be all victory for the chanting of your holy names, which cleanses the heart, stops the miseries of material existence. But the prime addiction for all living entities, life of all transcendental knowledge, and they and one taste nectar at every step. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be filled with tears of love as I chant your holy names? Because of separation from you, I consider a moment like a great millennium. You may embrace me tightly, make me broken-hearted by not being visible to me. You are completely free to do anything and everything, but you are my worshipable Lord, unconditionally.
Krishna Prem Pradate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Pishe
We open the curtains, please. Is that the best place for the back? For the back. Agree. I have this.
Gopi Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hare, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shil Prabhupada ki jai. Vairagya Vijay Bhakti Yoga. I couldn't find some here because it weren't working. Can you find that? Vairagya Vijay Bhakti. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Anybody new today? Not been to a Hare Krishna temple before? You've not been to a temple before?
A long time ago.
A long time ago. Oh, thanks for coming. What's your name?
Peter.
Are you from Manchester?
Crew.
Oh, you've come all the way from Crewe today. Very good.
My wife and my daughter as well.
Okay. Anyway, excuse us. This is a special day today. Well, tomorrow's a special day, but because this day is next to it, and Sunday's a day when everybody is usually free, but then we do a special program, so it's not the usual program. It's a little bit more of a celebration, and celebrations tend to be a little bit what they call it, when something's exclusive. You know what I mean? It's not so inclusive as the usual program, so excuse us if there's any things which we're speaking about which may not be so straightforward. But anyway, it's reasonably straightforward. And so we're just trying to find a verse which is suitable.
Yeah, I found it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Where is it? Madhya. Oh, I'll find Madhya on here.
That's in my
Okay, I'll use that. Just find out. Take that out.
Plenty of chance, so should be fine. Oops, I'll sort that out.
Anybody else new today? You are new. Have you been to a Hare Krishna temple at all?
I went to the one in London.
Soho Street, Oxford Road, off Oxford Street.
Manor.
Oh, the Manor. Okay. You stay there for long?
I went there for a retreat.
All right.
It was lovely.
Okay.
That's the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
These are the PC.
Oh. Hare Krishna. Okay, we've got a verse here.
Okay. Hi. This side. This side.
So we've got
I'm first time here. I'm from Pune, India, and recently we have located here. She's my wife and my daughter, sitting over there.
Hare
Thanks.
Krishna. Thank you for coming. And you don't have to stand up if you don't want. It's okay. Where did you find out? You've been before, so you decided to come along. That's good. Yeah, so it's a nice day today. This is the essence of this process, actually. Today's the real foundation of most things that we do, so it'll be very, very helpful. So we're reading from a book called Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is a significant title for a book. Chaita is like the heart or the life force. Anya, only the life force. Chaitanya Charita. Charita means character. We can see the similarity. And Amrita, what does Amrita mean? It means nectar. It means eternality. Nectar is eternal. That's when things become nectar, when there's no cessation, when we can enjoy unlimitedly. So it's the title of the book is the nature of the life force or of the living entity in eternity, what our real nature is. And then we're specifically speaking about the another Avatar. Avatar means one who has anybody seen the film called Avatar? Put your hands up, don't be shy. So this was, Avatar means one who, he descended from the Earth planet. Oh, he descended from the Earth planet and he went to another planet, and they eventually became one of the inhabitants of that planet, but because he was especially empowered, he was able to help them. So this is the nature of an avatar. An avatar is descending from the spiritual world into this material realm. It's usually a representative of the Supreme, well, it's always a representative of the Supreme Lord. And they come to regenerate or rejuvenate those principles which will help society to advance spiritually. Basically, we're not the body, we're the soul. This is the real understanding of our existence. And unfortunately, because of a lack of education, most people are not aware of that. Even beyond 200 years ago, in the Western countries, people were very much aware of their spiritual life. But since the advent of the Industrial Revolution, then, you know, people have become more focused on a lot of other things, and therefore they've lost sight of the real purpose of human life. So that's the first thing that we need to understand, is that we're not talking about this body, we're talking about that which will carry on when the body ceases to function. We don't cease to function. And that's why we find it intolerable to, you know, to think about. You know, people think, you know, it's the end of my existence, and it's not very satisfying to think like that, because we're not like that. Basically, it's not our nature. So we're identifying with a foreign substance. So these talks are about, this particular talk is about the representative of the Supreme Lord who appeared in this world in order to rejuvenate principles which are just suitable for the way that people are living now. So that representative is actually the Supreme Lord himself in a different form. You know, when we go to work, we put on a uniform, we put on a hat, don't we? And this is a hat, like the boss's hat. Is that right? If you're the manager of a firm, you put the boss's hat on and you go to work, and you act in a certain way. Is that right? When we come home, we take the boss's hat off. Is that right? And we put another hat on. And then when we're dealing with another situation, we put another. So like that. We've all got different relationships, and we wear different hats for those different relationships. So this is actually non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he has many different relationships with unlimited living entities, and with each living entity he wears a different hat according to the desire of the living entity. He's so kind, he reciprocates with us in the relationship that we want. So in this, but sometimes he takes on a particular situation in order to reawaken people to their lost spiritual life. And 500 years ago, it was noted that things were becoming really degraded. How could you tell they were becoming degraded? Everybody had a smartphone. No, they didn't. I'm only kidding. So no, everybody, you know, there were 13 Apa Sampradayas. Apa means, you know, it's not the correct Sampradaya. Sampradaya means a disciplic succession of spiritual knowledge. And due to diversions, people who wouldn't follow the real teachings, then they started to form their own Sampradayas. This was not far long after Lord Chaitanya. We're speaking about Lord Chaitanya today. He's the incarnation who came 500 years ago. And he came to rectify the situation. But one of his representatives later started to, as soon as he left, then these Upper Sampradayas started to immediately manifest. And they were eventually brought under control by another representative of the Supreme Lord. But we're not going to speak too much about that. So the name of the particular form of the Lord who appeared 500 years ago was Chaitanya, so same as Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this means the Mahaprabhu means master. So we're all masters to some degree of something, but he's the supreme master. He's the master of everything. So the living entity was the supreme master, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he personally came to show us how to practice this devotional service, this process of spiritual advancement, spiritual progress in life. And this particular verse we're going to speak about is just relating some of the 3 reasons that he appeared. So we'll just recite the verse together. We'll do it word for word, and then we'll do a full line, and then a word for word and another full line. And eventually, it starts to stick. More and more it's not actually fully essential, but it's helpful. So, is that okay with everybody? Yeah? So, Vairagya, Vidya, Nija, Bhakti, Yoga, Vairagya, Vidya, Nija, Bhakti, Yoga, Vairagya, Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga, Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga, Shikshartham, Eka, Purusha, Purana, Shikshartham Eka, Purusha Parana, Purana, not Parana. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Shariradhari, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari, Kripambudir, Yas, Tam, Aham, Prapadye, Kripambudir Yastam Aham Prapadye. Let's try again. Kripambudir Yastam Aham Prapadye. Kripambudir Yastam Aham Prapadye. Okay, so that's good. So I'll just read the word for word, what it means in English, transliteration. Vairagya, detachment from everything that does not, help develop Krishna consciousness. Vidya, knowledge. Nija, own. Bhakti yoga, devotional service. Shikshartam, this means knowledge, information, transference of information, instruct. Just to instruct. Ekaha, the single person. Purusha, the supreme person. Puranaha, very old or eternal. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shariradhari, accepting the body. Kripa Ambudhi, the ocean of transcendental mercy. Yaha, who? Tam, unto him. Aham, I. Prapadye, surrender. So now we'll do the translation. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto him. In response, please. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. Purport. This verse and the following verse are included in Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka and 475 by Sri Kavi Karnapur. So I'll do the next verse as well. We don't have to all recite this, but Kala nastam bhakti yogam nijam yaha padukshartam Krishna Chaitanya nama avir bhutastasya padaravinde gadam gadam liyatam chitta bringha. Let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has just now appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach the ancient system of devotional service to himself. This system has almost been lost due to the influence of time. This is from Bhagavad Gita 4:7. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat and a prominent rise of religion at that time, I descend myself. This is also the case with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world as a disguised incarnation of Krishna. But his appearance is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Mahabharata and other Vedic literatures. He appeared in order to teach the fallen souls in this material world, for in this age of Kali almost everyone has become attached to fruitive and ritualistic activities and mental speculation. Consequently, there was a great need to revive the system of devotional service. The Lord himself personally came down disguised as a devotee so that the fallen populace might take advantage of the Lord's example. At the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advised complete surrender unto him, promising all protection to his devotee. Unfortunately, people are so fallen that they cannot accept the instructions of Lord Krishna. Therefore, Krishna returned with the same mission, but he executed it in a different way. As Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he ordered us to surrender unto himself, but as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught us how to surrender to Krishna. Therefore, he is praised by the Goswamis, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Lord Sri Krishna is certainly the personality of Godhead, but he is not as magnanimous as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Krishna simply gave orders for one to become his devotee. Manmana bhavamad bhakto. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually taught the process of Krishna consciousness. If one wants to become a devotee of Krishna, he must first take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, following in the footsteps of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and other exalted devotees. Om Ganti Mirandasya Garanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastachari Satarine. So that's the best kind of teacher, one who teaches by example. Lord Krishna, when he came to 5,000 years ago, he took on the form of a prince. In his early life he was a cowherd boy and he was a village boy, and he showed what the activities are in the spiritual world. A very simple life where, everybody is working for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it doesn't appear like that. It doesn't appear like that because everybody is not fully conscious of his real position, and so therefore these activities were displayed in his early lifetime. This is a whole philosophical point, but by Lord Krishna's omnipotency in the spiritual world, those who are really desirous of his association out of genuine love, then he covers his real, not his real, but he covers his facet as the all-pervading Supreme Lord, and comes down apparently to the platform of the devotees. So that's the most intimate relationship. When we have a very intimate relationship, it's mostly with the spouse and the two spouse. So there's various relationships in the spiritual world, and Lord Krishna was teaching all these things, and in his early life he taught the relationship in friendship. The Supreme Lord can be our friend eternally. So this is, and then when he grew up, he started to show another facet. He showed another type of relationship, which we won't mention at this particular time. But as he grew up, then he became a prince. He changed he showed his opulences in that particular relationship. And then, while he was a prince, then he arranged for the Bhagavad Gita to be spoken. This is a book we're all familiar with. And Bhagavad Gita was spoken so that everybody can understand their real identity and their real position, and how to re-establish that real position, our spiritual life. But he didn't necessarily directly show how to practice spiritual life. He left that up to the individual and the disciplic succession that came from him. And so the thing is that when we have a choice, we always take the easy way out. And so, surrender's not a very popular word in this material world, is it? Surrender. If you went up to somebody and said that, they'd think you were crazy. It's just not a word that's used, only if you're actually beaten in some event. And and so, people weren't inclined. And so here it's saying that Krishna doesn't give up on the living entity at no point. He always trying to find a way to bring the conditioned soul back to his lotus feet. And so, but he doesn't do it, he could do it straight away. He's full of all potencies, he can do anything. He can make black appear white, he can make material appear spiritual, he can reverse everything. He has that ability. But he always creates a pastime. Why does he create a pastime? Because, we talk philosophy and everybody's eyelids become very heavy, It's the quickest way to put somebody to sleep, If you want, you don't have to get expensive drugs. If you've got insomnia, just put, the Vedanta Sutra at the side of your bed. So, so Krishna knows that. He knows that once we become, materially motivated, there's not very much spiritual attraction. And so he arranges stories within stories. Every evening there's probably a story on the television. Is that right? What's the latest one? Anyway, I think we all know. What was it? Coronation Street, is it? Yeah, Coronation Street, it was just up the road, wasn't it, in Trafford, I think. But, when it gets to that time of night, everybody's click, the televisions go on. I used to do door-to-door in this area, and all around Manchester, actually. And some evenings, I wondered why everybody was so, so sharp with me. I used to knock on the door and he said, "What do you want?" I said, I've just come to do... It's Coronation Street's on. So that I used to have that day off. So Krishna understands that, and he creates stories, and in those stories he unravels the philosophy of life. We can learn from those stories, and so understanding that people were not so inclined to immediately start surrendering everything, Krishna arranged so that he could appear later in another form. And in that particular form, he appeared in the dual form of his eternal consort, Srimati Radharani, and himself. Why did he do that? Because generally, in the beginning at least, women are more soft-hearted than men. They're more inclined to, be forgiving for some offence, whereas a man, he'll actually make sure that, the proper procedures taken for, rectifying the situation. And so he appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he appeared in the colour of Srimati Radharani, golden. That's why he's called Gauranga. Gaura means golden and Anga means limb. And he appeared with the sentiment of Srimati Radharani. So Lord Chaitanya is called Maha, which means great, Vadanyaya, most munificent incarnation, because of that sentiment. In the spiritual world, when a devotee approaches Lord Krishna, we are devotees actually of Srimati Radharani. She is our leader. And so when she sees somebody doing some nice service, she'll petition Lord Krishna and say, "Oh, Krishna, just look at this devotee, he's doing so much wonderful service, much better than me, please accept him." And, the man usually submits to the woman's request, and so this is the way through to Lord Krishna. And so this is why Lord Chaitanya appeared, because he had that mood. He's called Mahavadanyaya because he'll accept anybody if they have the understanding of how to go forward. If they surrendered their... they don't even have to surrender, actually. It's not even a surrender. What do we have to surrender to? Surrender to the process. So he came and he showed us the process of devotional service. And he only wrote 8 prayers. Usually, we need a lot more information than that to practice devotional service. But if we follow these 8 prayers, they call the Shikshastakam. Shiksha means knowledge or information, a transfer of information, teaching. So Shikshastakam, Anastakam means 8. And the first 3 verses are all about the process of attaining the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The process of winding up our material existence and regenerating our spiritual existence. And first verses explain that what the process is to chant. And this Cheto Darpana Marjanam, this chanting cleanses the heart. Bhava Mahade Vagni Nirvapanam. And it extinguishes the fire that everybody's feeling. What's the latest fire? Oh, everybody, coronavirus. And then when we get that one out of the way, we'll be all right. Is that right? Everything will be great. You know, there's a load of viruses waiting in queue. When is it my turn? This is a material world. One problem after another. So, you know, Cheto Marjana Darpana. Marjanam means to purify the heart. Cheto Marjana Darpanam. Bhava Mahadavagni. Mahadavagni, this great fire of anxiety that everybody's feeling. Shreya Cherika Chandrika Vitalam Vidyavadu Jivanam. So this, same as this verse, Vidyavadu Jivanam, disseminate knowledge. And Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Ananda, what does Ananda mean? Ananda means bliss. Buddhi, intelligence. Vardhanam, increasing. Buddhi also means feeling. It's increasing the ocean of transcendental bliss and allowing us to fully taste the nectar for which we were always anxious. So Lord Chaitanya was always chanting the holy name. He would go through, you know, in his early life, when Lord Chaitanya appeared, the whole of India was chanting the holy name, it said. It was a lunar eclipse. And lunar eclipses are not necessarily so auspicious. You know, in the West, we don't really understand what an eclipse is. And so therefore everybody wants to be out in the eclipse and see what it, you know, see this unusual phenomenon. But in the East, in India, they understand that this is an inauspicious time. So at that time, everybody was bathing in the Ganges and chanting the holy name. And so that's when Lord Chaitanya appeared. So this was indicative of his particular way of disseminating spiritual knowledge. Previously, there were much more challenging processes. In the Satya Yuga, it was a process of meditation. People were much more, they had more longevity, and they had better memories, and they were more in the mode of goodness. It said in the previous age, in the Satya Yuga, there was 4 ages, like 4 seasons. In the Satya Yuga, people lived for up to 100,000 years. And Prabhupada gives some indication of why that was. Because we're meant to live for a long time, actually. That's the natural lifespan of a human being, if he follows the proper process. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, he explains, Prayanalpa yasa sabya, kalu vasmin yuge ganama, manda sumanda matya, manda bhagya padritaha. He says, in this age of Kali, this is the present age, people will be short-lived. That's the first thing. They will be lazy in spiritual life. Lazy in spiritual life, misguided by so many mis-spiritual practices, and unfortunate. And above all, always disturbed. So this first one is duration of life. Our founder Acharya Prabhupada speaks about this in the purport, and he said to keep good health, it's not necessarily by so many things he mentions that we think will keep good health. He says it's regulation. He says if we have a regulated life, then the body will work nicely. But he said, he actually expanded on that. He said that previously, you know, the food substances that people ate, they were so nourishing. Because he says that food in the mode of goodness is generally vegetarian food. There are different modes of nature, so there's food in different classifications. So food in the mode of goodness is vegetarian food. And he says the only purpose of food is to give health, strength, vitality and duration of life. It's meant to keep this body working nicely. So previously, when people were more inclined to spiritual life and followed the rules and regulations of life, which are given in the scriptures, naturally everything was profusely delivered. And people would, you know, automatically, they didn't have to strenuously endeavour, but just by the way of life they had and the food they eat, they live for much longer. We can see that now, can't we? That, you know, what the food that we're getting now, it's all processed. It's all stripped of a lot of nourishment. So, you know, people are becoming more susceptible to disease. You know, people are not as strong as they used to be in previous ages. So, one thing that also goes alongside that, when the body is not kept healthy, then the mind becomes disturbed. And when the mind's disturbed, then we can't actually function properly. So this process which Lord Chaitanya came, understanding that people couldn't perform the processes of previous ages, he said that, and are we too busy? Are we too busy to perform any process? Our day's packed up. Is it? It's packed up. Chock-a-block. And it's like, you know, we could do a few more days extra in the week just to get everything in. But are people doing making any more profit out of it? No, they're not. Becoming more and more disturbed. So we don't have time to practice the processes of previous ages. So this process of Kirtan Yoga is what Lord Chaitanya brought. We tend to think it's just a recent process in ISKCON, Kirtan Yoga. We have Kirtan Yoga programs, but you know, the real Kirtan Yoga, Lord Chaitanya did. He would go out in the street with some of his followers and he'd just start chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And they would go through, they went all the way through South India doing this, all the way up the other side and then across. So this was his process. He came to show us how to preach Krishna consciousness. So, Vairagya. We don't have much time, but we'll be carrying on tomorrow morning and then we'll carry on Monday. Tomorrow evening there'll be a little bit more information. But basically, to round up, is that this world is being monitored. It's being monitored by Krishna. And why? Because this world in the human form of life is meant for self-realization. And so when he sees that this process is not being extended to society, what do I mean by extended to society? Who should extend this process to society? Any ideas? Who? What was that?
Extend this process to society.
All of us. Prabhupada's books. What do they call the Queen of England? Elizabeth, is it? Hey? I don't know the Latin, but her title is Defender of the Faith. This is the nature of the monarch. The monarch, the leaders, are supposed to actually defend their citizens from being diverted from the path of self-realization. So this is the purpose of human life. And when Lord Krishna sees that this is not actually taking place, then he personally intervenes. He either comes personally sometime, or he sends his representative to, re-establish principles by which people can start to develop their spiritual life again. And in this age, we're particularly unfortunate that there's so many material trappings. There's so many other things to do. It's distracting. It's very difficult for people to focus. And so vairagya is a very important quality. There's three important qualities. One is vairagya. That means we don't accept more than what we need. We don't try to enjoy more than what we need. We're satisfied with a regulated life. The next one is knowledge, and without knowledge we can't have vairagya. If we don't know why, we won't do it. So, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Parayojatha Janatyasya Vairagyam Jnanacha Ahaitakam. By rendering devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one automatically develops knowledge. Krishna infuses the devotee with knowledge. And then from that knowledge comes detachment. And from that detachment actually comes happiness. Has anybody experienced that? In the beginning it's not happiness, it's like, wow. But then, we've got nothing to worry about, we haven't got anything. So the more we actually get in this world, the more we aspire to get things, the more we'll become disturbed. And the more we're actually satisfied with the basics, the more we'll be actually happy. But we need one more thing. So three things. Knowledge, renunciation and bhakti. We need to have another taste in life. I went in, we were in York yesterday, we were chanting, and thousands of people milling about, doing different things to try and find some happiness. But they don't have the real key. They don't have this. So they'll renounce one thing and try another. They'll get knowledge that this will make me happy, and they'll try that and renounce that, and chopping, changing. But when one actually understands the process of devotional life, then that higher taste will keep one fixed for the rest of this lifetime and beyond, because it's such a higher taste. So Bhakti Yoga, by rendering this devotional service, beginning with chanting the holy name, then a natural taste will awaken in that person. And then that renunciation, that detachment, vairagya means detachment, from just trying to enjoy this world will start to diminish. And proportionately, as that diminishes, one feels satisfaction. I gave that example of eating a meal the other day. Bhakti Yoga is like the sweet taste. When we perform devotional service, we get a very sweet taste. What's that word? Bhakti. Pareshana bhava. Then anu means what follows. Anubhava means a mellow or an affection for the Supreme Lord, a very strong taste. And then from that develops, what is it? Bhakti Pareshana bhava. Viraktir, we're talking about vidya. And then detachment develops. So when that detachment starts to develop, that means that we're starting to get a real taste in devotional service. Then Prabhupada explains that we're actually on the safe side. We can't exist without happiness, without some striving to find that happiness. As soon as we stop striving for happiness, then we're dead. That's it. That's what happens. People just throw the towel in. We see them every day in Manchester. They've actually drifted into a situation where they're just like taking drugs. They lay on the floor, they don't do anything. they've given up. So that's a lamentable situation. This process makes us full of life, full of jubilant. So this is what Lord Chaitanya showed. When he came, he was constantly chanting the holy name. And he was, he'd go to a whole village and all the village would watch him. And then they become so infused with this bliss that they would actually they'd go to another village and they'd infuse that, in the village, just, what is it? What's this? What do they call it? Exponential, isn't it? Is that what it is? Exponential. It means it starts off and then it... Whew. So this is... okay, so whenever the Supreme Lord sees some malady or some a lack of ability to take up devotional life, then he makes a situation whereby it can be rejuvenated. So this is Lord Chaitanya's reason for appearing 500 years ago. And so we can say more tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow evening also. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanandi.
Dayananda Swami Maharaj ki jai. So Hare Krishna everyone. Quick announcement. So firstly, thank you everyone for being with us today. Really appreciate it. So as you all know, tomorrow is a big day for us. It's a special day, appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maharaj has just spoken about it. So tomorrow is the appearance day. So how we are celebrating. So there's a morning program, Mangalarti we call it, starting from 5 a.m. here in the temple. So if you would like to come and participate, get the blessings of Mahaprabhu, please be with us. I know that some of you have already been here and experienced wonderful joy. So starting from 5 a.m. in the morning. Yes? Okay. If you can't make it, come for the class. Maharaj will be giving lecture again in the morning from 8 o'clock. So we will be fasting until noon, until moonrise. What is moonrise? Or when is moonrise? We'll let you know. I'll look at the calendar and let you know.
There's one at 5 p.m. as well.
Yeah. It's tricky. Yeah, if you break the fast, when the temple feeds, no problem at all. Temple feed all the devotees at 9 o'clock. So yeah, but I'll let you know. I will have a look at it and let you know. So yeah, morning there will be a lecture again. So Maharaj will be giving that, and in the evening there is a big celebration outside in Jain Samaj, starting from 6 o'clock in the evening. So what we got for that evening? So there will be plenty of kirtan. There will be lecture again, drama, palanquin procession, abhishek, and harati, and for the pleasure of everyone, there will be a big feast. Lot of, just to put it in simple words, chanting, dancing, feasting. That's it. So please, spread the news around and bring your near and dear tomorrow. As we put a notice and we have sent the message out, everyone is aware about the coronavirus. So please take extra care, be safe, and if anybody is ill with those symptoms that the government is listing or NHS is listing, you may want to stay away. Or if you think you'll be affected by this, you can also stay away. That's up to you. But what we'll do is we'll provide a little opportunity for everyone to sanitize their hands at the venue as well. Yes, so that's for tomorrow, big day. Looking forward to that. Radha Vinod Prabhu, the festival coordinator, what he mentioned was that if you have agreed for some service, make sure you get your own stuff with you. If not, leave the stuff in that prasadam hall, the next door, after prasadam, after finishing prasadam. Okay? So if you can't bring the stuff with you, leave it there and let Phillips Prabhu and Radha Vinod Prabhu know. And one more thing, today the upstairs library is not available for prasadam eating prasadam, unfortunately, because the devotees are making garlands. You have to go and see how beautiful it looks with various flowers and flower petals, really beautiful. So unfortunately, that room is not available for eating prasadam. So make use of this room and the next door and corridor, etc. So I know that Maharaj has already welcomed some of the guests. I would like to once again welcome all the guests by 3 loud Haribols. Haribol! 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 So just to let all our guests know that we have a website, iskonmanchester.com, and all our information is posted over there. We do programs every Sunday and Friday. Sunday between 12 till 3, and Friday between 7 and 9. And we also celebrate all major festivals. If you would like to get the information, so please give your number. There is a WhatsApp number. If you text that number to the WhatsApp number, you'll be added onto our system, and then you'll be keep getting all our updates about the temple. So that's it from me, really. So thanks, everyone. So Maharaj will kindly lift us all now by doing wonderful kirtan, ecstatic kirtan. Hare Krishna. Thank you, very nice. Thank you. So I managed to find it.
So this is the method that Lord Chaitanya used. This is what we were talking about in class. Congregational chanting of the holy name. So please be very very joyful in chanting this holy name. I'll just recite a few prayers. Maybe the newcomers won't always understand them, but then we go on to the Maha Mantra, and then you can join in. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pastatya Deshutarine Namaste Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Ram Hare Hare. Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga, Jai Satinandan Gauranga, Jai Satinandan Gauranga. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda, 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 Govinda. Radha, Radha, Govinda, Jaya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Hare Baba, Hare Baba, Hare Baba, Hare Baba. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Sri Prabhupada ki, Gaurapanandi. Jam Vishnu Pad Hamsa Parivichar Ashto Shri Shri Design Regular AC Active Swami Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivacharya Ashto Shri Shri His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Adanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gadadhar Shri Vasudi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navavit Mayapur Dham ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Yamuna Maya ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaura Premanande! All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Namaste Nara Sringaya. Prahlada Dayine. Kachi Purvaksha Ilata Kalaye Iton Singha Paron Singo Tata Yatoyamin Taton Singha Ahir Singha Ridaye Nusingho Narasingamadim Sharanam Prataje Tavakara Kamalavare Nakama Bhuta Sringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Ishavadrita Hari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Avakara Kamalava Kechavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Sharirara Vijaya, Jodindriya Tahika, Pile Visaya Sagare, Paramanje Jivayati, Obamai Sadurmati, Takijata Katina Samse, Krishna Bharadayamai, Hari Bar Jiva Joy Swar Prasad Nadilovai Se Amrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunaga Ramidaka Chaitanya Nitai Jai Nitai Jai Nitwa Sri Bhagavat Prasad Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Oh,